Hey guys, welcome to Dylan's Little Hobbies. Now, I did a video that was talking about the live-action remakes and news, the information that came out of D23, and I'll leave a link to it in the description below. But that kind of inspired this video, which is the 3 videos that I don't want them to make, as well as the 3 videos that I want them to make. So, without further ado, let's get into this. So, the 3 movies, the 3 Disney classics that I do not want them ever to make a live-action remake of is, well, number 1 would be The Little Mermaid. Okay, why The Little Mermaid? Look, I'm not against Disney princesses at all, and if they want to make the whole Disney princess line, I'm fine by that. Snow White, Cinderella, Belle, Sleeping Beauty? My god, I love these movies. I'm not ashamed of saying it. I'm a guy who likes princess movies. Hey, what can you do? But seriously, The Little Mermaid is just, while I loved the movie, I watched it a million times, it is just a little too girly, and there's really nothing in it that seems to be an interesting movie. You know, for little girls, of course it's a good movie, but for guys, it's that movie that guys are like, Especially The Little Mermaid. There's just not much that I can see them doing with it. And there's tons of movies with mermaids in them. In fact, I even did them in Pirates of the Caribbean, the 4th movie. For God's sakes, Disney, do not make The Little Mermaid, please. Now, the second movie that I really don't want them to. I just don't want them to even go near or touch this film. Especially because this is the movie that is like the scariest, creepiest movie that you could have ever watched as a young kid. And that is The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Beautiful movie, fantastic, gruesome, and scary, terrifying story. I definitely feel like, unless they wanted to do like a rated R or like PG 15, 16 kind of movie, well, of course it's gonna be PG 13, but you know, definitely a more adult movie that you definitely don't want to show little kids because of how gruesome it is, then sure, they could do The Hunchback of Notre Dame. In fact, you know, because of what the story is and everything that's in it and all the controversies, all the controversial things, the controversial topics in the movie, I just feel like in this day and age, they wouldn't want to make a movie like this in a live-action form. But nonetheless, The Hunchback of Notre Dame is actually not in my top 3 favorites, but it's actually in my top 10 favorites. It's about number 7. Maybe I'll do a top 10, maybe I'll do a top movie list for you one day. But definitely Hunchback of Notre Dame, beautiful and gruesome story. Great movie, not necessarily for little kids, and definitely a live action of this movie would just be too much. But nonetheless, I think it's a really good movie. Now, before I talk about number 3, I want to kind of step on myself here and talk about a couple of honorable mentions just because they need to be said. Peter Pan already has a live action, and although I love Peter Pan, If they want to do Peter Pan, I guess they can extend the story, but to tell Peter Pan the story all over again would kind of just be annoying. So please do not make Peter Pan again. I don't think Disney's that stupid. As well, they also made, I don't know if it was Disney or somebody else, but they did make somebody made at least, Alice in Wonderland, which I love the movies, by the way. Alice in Wonderland, the live action movies are fantastic. Alice in Wonderland, the original movie is, of course, the cartoon is my favorite. That Alice in Wonderland, I would rank like number 4 or 5. It's in my top 5, definitely, for favorite movies, because Alice in Wonderland, it's such a fantastic story, and I really, really like what they did with those live actions. So, I don't think Disney is stupid enough to make Alice in Wonderland again. Yeah, so it goes without saying, Peter Pan and Alice in Wonderland should not be made. But as for the number 1 movie that I do not want them to ever remake is Pocahontas. Another princess movie? What's wrong with Pocahontas? Here's what's wrong with Pocahontas. Everything in Pocahontas is wrong. Number 1, Pocahontas was like a 16, 17-year-old kid at the time, and John Smith was like a 30, 40-year-old man. And my God, there was no love action there at all. That's terrible that they even tried to do that. And then, of course, here's the thing when it comes to movie 2. She was actually sold not as a slave, but she was pretty much sold to the to an English man who married her. Okay. So if they want to make a live-action Pocahontas movie, then make a documentary telling people what really happened, because Pocahontas is not what you think she was. She is not the Disney princess we all think she is. She should not be a Disney princess at all. We should all respect the real story of Pocahontas. Okay? Especially because of the, Native American storyline that they have. It's all Native American culture and all that. It's really fascinating to me. And they do a terrible, god-awful, terrible job in that movie. I do not want to see them ever do it again, especially in a live-action movie. So, nonetheless, let's talk about the movies that I want to see being remade. Now, I must say, if it wasn't for the fact that Dumbo and Lion King have already been announced to be, they're making Lion King, and they already announced Dumbo, if they didn't do that, they would probably be on this list, because those are my 2 favorite Disney classic movies. But, nonetheless, when it comes to Disney classic movies, at number 3, you know what I would really like to see? Hercules. I think it's a really good movie, a really safe movie. They could have a lot of fun with it. Everybody loves the Percy Jackson movies, and I really think a live-action Hercules movie would honestly be just a really fun movie to watch. I think they could do a lot with Hercules. I wish they would do a lot more with Hercules. So yeah, definitely Hercules is definitely going to be on there. Now, the next movie that I would actually like to see them do a live-action remake of is a movie that, honestly, it doesn't get a lot of love, but this movie is a fantastic movie, a really, really good movie that I wished got more love, because it's at least in my top 10, not my top 5, but it is definitely a fantastic, good story, something that I think Disney would actually be able to do a lot with, especially because it's like a sci-fi kind of story, so I mean, they're already doing Star Wars, for God's sakes. I feel like this movie would do an absolutely good job, and a lot of people would love it, and that is Treasure Planet. Treasure Planet is just an absolute fun ride. Fantastic movie. Absolutely love it. I want to see it. I want to see a live action movie form of it. It's just a great story, a lot of laughs. I really enjoyed it when I was a kid, so why do they not do a live action of it? Am I right? And number 3 that I would really like to see them do is Cusco's New Groove is the funniest movie that you could possibly imagine. I really like the story of him turning into a llama. My cat's in the background, say hi there. Oh my god, I wish they would do Cusco's New Groove. Now, you may have noticed in my in my news report, the D23 video that I was talking about, I didn't talk much about Aladdin, and that's because there's not much to talk about Aladdin right now. But I am actually interested in seeing Aladdin 2, and I want you guys to know that. Well, anyway, that's it for me. Those are the top 3 movies that I don't want to see in the top 3 movies that I do want to see right now. There's tons of Disney classics, for God's sakes. Thank you guys for watching, and I'm out. Bye!